Or what'd you see from that group in the pivotal non-Jokic minutes?
Yeah, I thought they played great defense, to be honest. We made some shots. Jamal Murray's a special player. Went to work during that time. He drew a lot of fouls in that quarter because he got fouled a lot. And, I just thought those guys, they really held it down defensively, and that got us out in transition. Not to mention in the first quarter, we just missed wide open shots. I thought we were playing well. We just didn't make shots. And, eventually not making shots, their defensive rebound, now they're playing with pace, now they're playing downhill. That's a recipe for a problem. I thought the second quarter was our offense throughout the season and a much better defensive effort that really, started trending into the second half. And I thought the guys really sat down and guarded, throughout the second half.
David, you kind of touched on it there, but what did you see from Jamal process-wise on a night when he didn't have the three ball going?
Yeah, just toughness, man. He's got a lot of responsibilities with a lot of different people guarding him that are high-level defenders that had a hold of his jersey throughout the night. McDaniels, he works hard. Anthony Edwards is on him. Desumu. This is a challenge. I just thought mentally he fought through it, and there were timely shots that he made. Mid-range jump shots where they were on a run. The turnaround jumper in the third quarter was our only bucket until I set everybody back in. It was a huge bucket just to kind of silence it a little bit. So timely shooting, unbelievable free throw shooting, mental toughness, plus 13 for the night. Didn't want to play him as many minutes as I did, but I felt like the fourth quarter was one of those quarters that you just go with it. I was trying to find a 2-minute run, to get him out. But with the lack of timeouts that I had, it's hard to control that. So I let him go. But yeah, he's been so good all night or all year. And to your point, he's 0 for 8 from 3. That's not going to happen. He the rhythm he's been in. So, Jamal has been Jamal all year, just tough-minded.
Coach, you mentioned missing opening shots early. How important was the mentality switch to get downhill, get to the basket, and also get to the free throw line?
Yeah, and I think you got to take what they give us. If they're in zero coverage, meaning that they're basically staying with Yoke, and pick and rolls, you have to attack the basket confidently, look to score or look to spray to your teammates. And I think we have to take what's there. And Yoke is such a patient player. Early it was a lot of our guys making plays for each other. And as they changed their coverages, then he went to work. And you see his 25, and 11 assists, and obviously the 13 rebounds. So some games are different than others, and they may adjust, do different things defensively. We've worked on all these things. You just have to execute them when they're out there. I thought the turnovers in the first half were the major downside of this game because so many of them were avoidable. Guys not finishing cuts, guys not, continuing to get the ball for a dribble handoff. Those lead to dunks and things like that. But when we did execute, to your point, we found wide open shots.
David, how did Bruce Brown energize you guys tonight?
Defensively. He just got into people when we needed buckets. He really was the reason why we pushed that lead out. That's why I went back to him in the fourth quarter. Sometimes you can get away with that when you have, AG spacing the floor in the dunker and you have Jamal and Nikola working. You can put defensive guys out there, to help your defense. And Bruce was great. His activity was great. He towed the line that you need to toe in the playoffs, bottom line. So it was good to see him. Plus the 3 assists, he had a really solid floor game.
You guys have talked all week about how familiar you are with each other. What does it say about how good the two-man game is that you're still able to get to that down the stretch and execute the way you did?
Yeah, and I think, those guys are so patient. The number one thing for us in these situations is that just to get a great shot is all that matters to me. And those guys combined for 18 assists. So it's just they're so patient. They take what the game gives them. If they're going to decide just to play 2-on-2, it'll be a lot more field goal attempts. But if it means that they have to move the ball, find the right man, and like I said, we got a ton of open shots tonight. We didn't shoot it well. We still found a way to win the game because we can control the game at the end because of those two players.
David, I know every game is its own individual thing, but how big is it to just start out the playoffs with a win at home?
Yeah, it's big. I also think it was a type of playoff game that you love to win because it was kind of ugly. When you start the game off and you're known for your offense, and we created really good looks, like I said, and then we were up against it right away, and that's a big thing for a road team to come out, punch the home team in the mouth. That's what they did, after we missed shots, and just the reaction to that, staying together, winning a grimy game, it's good. We're going to have games where we shoot the hell out of it and everything looks pretty and everybody's going to say how good we are. There's no difference. You just win the game, and that's what the game was tonight. Our defense held up in the second half. After the first quarter, it was very solid. We did just enough offensively to get to 116.
Kind of building off that a little bit, when you look at everything that just happened, how physical the game was, how gritty it was, how many plays got looked at, what kind of a tone does it set for what's to come for this series from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's a physical series. The playoffs are physical, though. The only moment I just rewatching, AG taking the shot in the back from Randall was concerning. That's on our report for something that's bothered him. It was lower back, so that was unfortunate. But that's just the way the game is. These games are that way. Both teams are experienced. They're used to winning these games. They know what it means to play in a physical matchup. So there's a respect on both sides. But there's also a want to win, and that brings out a lot of intensity and physicality.
Coach, you've talked a lot about your defense. Was there any unsung heroes defensively that you thought?
Yeah, I mean, I thought CB was great. He's guarding one of the best players in the world, and Ant still does what he does. And, with Ant, I just feel like you have to have somebody guarding him that will change up their own coverages sometimes, take responsibility to not give him the same look every time. And there's, you take chances where you gap pick and roll sometimes. The majority of the time we were up and chasing over the top. You can trust CB that what he's doing, there's a reason for it. And I realized this last year in the playoffs when he really had an enormous role guarding the better players with Harden and then on to Shea, is that he has that ability so you can trust. And that not all players are like that. CB does things for the right reasons. You can trust that. And obviously Aaron Gordon, the second half, that's why I rested him in the first half. He just interchangeable, can guard all these guys, different positions. So yeah, both those guys are great. But I just thought the team in general was really locked in. And guys like Jokic is up in pick and roll like 65 times. I know he gets killed defensively, but man, he's in good shape.
It's a small thing, but with Christian also, like his offense, his shooting is going to be tested throughout the playoffs. Does it do anything for a guy's confidence when his first open look of a series is one that goes in? He's obviously in front of their bench, kind of gives them the point. Like, does that do something mentally?
I think it does, and I think anybody that's played sports at any level, if you were lucky enough to play in a playoff game, the difference of how it feels, how your body feels. There is anxiety inside your body when you shoot the ball. It's not like playing in December. So yeah, I think it is a big deal. There's a totally different feel to shooting the ball in a playoff game. I don't care how open guys are. That's why percentages come down in these games. It's just there's more on the line. It tests your fundamentals and your workload you've done all year. And CB works hard. And I was really proud, honestly, of his 8 rebounds. Also, when you guard the best player on the other team and still get back into the fray and come up with defensive rebounds, that wins playoff games. It's not sexy. It's just the facts. And to have 8 of them while guarding that guy is very impressive.
David, you mentioned obviously Aaron having to sit for the entire second quarter with the foul trouble, but did you get that sense that kind of ignited him that rare stretch where he's on the bench for that long? Obviously he gets the tech late, but he's kind of matching the physicality that Minnesota's bringing to him.
Yeah, no, I think, we know what this is. When Aaron plays, we're a different team. It's just the bottom line. It's not the stats, it's the feel. We feel bigger because we are. His ball handling, the way he brings the ball up against pressure. And then, yes, taking on the physicality of what this all is. And Aaron, same thing, 4 offensive rebounds, 4 defensive rebounds, 17 points. Whatever you need that night, he brings it. And tonight it was attitude, physicality, and he'll bring whatever is needed in game 2. Thank you, Coach. Yep, thank you.